Ikero. It is early morning on this beautiful Sunday, January the 18th, and today is day 2 of Tawade Obora Boye Boshe. It is IFÀ Umilade Fatosin. And before we rise, I want to go ahead and say my Ibashes for the morning. Ibashe Orumilad, Ibashe Olódùmarè, Ibashe Ori, Ibashe to the Orishas, Ibashe to my mother, my father, Ibashe Eshu, Ibashe to my children, Ibashe to all of the 16 Odus, Ibashe to the Orumilad that sit on the right, and the Ajegun that sit on the left. Motupueo. Good morning, good morning, good morning. This morning, I am speaking on the Odu of Oyeku Méjì. Oyeku Méjì. And on this day of Tawade, it's not going to be any instructions alone. I am simply just following the calling of Tawade. And I want to show you what the Odu of Oyeku Méjì looks like, just in case you're unfamiliar with this Odu. It's a very, very strong, very powerful Odu that comes out of the 256 cosmic corpus of Olódù IFÀ. Well, let's see if I can find a better picture than this, something that's bigger. Let's see. I'll share this one. This is a nice little image that I got from Google. Nothing too major. But the Olódù IFÀ for Oyeku is the double lines, the twins, the double lines, the dark lines or the closed lines, that if you may wonder, just like the picture that you can see here on the right side of the elephants. Hold on, let's see. This is Odu IFÀ Oyeku. This is closed. Yes, that is Oyeku Méjì. Oyeku Méjì comes with very, very powerful verses known to speak of the woman's womb, and in death for the most part, as well as light as well, but definitely the endings of life. So today, when we enter into this Odu, is not to be a spectator, but more so to speak from it as descendants, speak from it as students. This Odu comes through dreams. It can come through meditations. It can come through prayers, and of course, whenever Rumila speaks through the diviner, it is of deliverance. It is of cleansing and new beginnings. The reason why I want to observe it during this time of Tawade is because it speaks of knowledge that one should consume. So one should visit, as each Odu would. Each Odu is a space that you should dwell in. It is a spiritual environment that you can dwell in. I've heard before one of the patakis for it is that IFÀ wishes, well, one of the patakis and that comes down with this Olódù is that IFÀ speaks through it. IFÀ is speaking through it, wishing the person who receives this Olódù well, to be rich in life, to take care of their life, to amend all of their relationships, and to allow them not to die prematurely. And this is why I say that this Olódù is very important for the one who receives it, and why I'm inviting you to meditate on it. Because in Tawade, as we meditate during these days, during this time, it'll teach us that before IFÀ reveals our destinies, it'll reveal to us our characters. It'll reveal to us where the elevation is needed, where the correction is needed, before you're able to even receive the riches, the abundance that comes with it, without any restraints. Without any restraints. And so that there will be no premature deaths of oneself or their relatives, and that all would live life long. The Olódù reminds us that life is not only about light, it's not all positive, that there must come with balance, and that there is a sweetness hidden inside of suffering. There is lessons inside of suffering. There is lessons inside of pain, that through darkness, if you sit with it for a while, that you will come out strong, resilient, and perseverance. Not all hardship is a punishment, but rather a preparation. It reminds me about some of the recent work that I've been studying on, and how many times I hear people talk about how they want to get out of the matrix, get out of the matrix. It's pretty cliche. Most people have heard this saying before. But have you ever really sat with the idea of what is the definition of a matrix? A matrix is a dark dwelling space, a space that molds you. The matrix is said to be the womb of the universe. Mama is the womb of the universe. Why would you want to leave mom's womb if it is there to mold you? If it's there to basically give you the nutrients and the supplements that you need. It might be a dark space, and there might come a time that you must leave so that you can go out into the world and to reproduce. However, while you're there, you want to get what you need instead of running from it. If God teaches us in this Olódù not to run from difficulty, not to speak falsely against others, not to break covenants, and not to be quick to anger or speak harshly with our words. The sunshine is just beginning over the horizon. It is a indication that the onset of a new day. Cast divination for Iye, the one that would fall from the sky, shall become bright like the king. And that is a part of the Olódù. And then the king asks, would I be rich? And in order to do so, he was asked to perform a sacrifice. Then he said, would he be sacrificed? Would he himself be sacrificed? But instead of being sacrificed, he became brightened. And life pleased him. He did what he needed to do, even though he was afraid to do those things. In the Olódù, I I have heard that it's important to watch how you behave when you're giving information, watch how you respond to things, you know, watch how you respond to things and to actually do the work, not just to perform to do the work. Because sometimes I find that, we might be given information or task or told to do a thing, and upon doing it, the task, we want to be rewarded, we want to be acknowledged and receive accolades. Or what if nobody is going to praise you for those things? How would you respond whenever you are not being rewarded for it, but you're asked instead to fulfill tasks or fulfill said assignments in silence, without the recognition, without any applause? How would you respond if you are told to do these things in order to be successful, in order to have a better outcome? Like, it's just the beginning part. You don't know how it will end in the on the other side of things. But for the assignment that you are supposed to do, you might not be revered or recognized for. And IFÀ says to remain honorable anyways. To remain honorable anyways. So the king in Olódù started to do the assignment that he was set to do, and life began to please him. And he started to dance and rejoice, and he started praising the Babalao that had given the reading to him. His Babalaos was praising IFÀ in return. He said that it was as Babalaos had said, that the sunshine would brighten up over the horizon. When I think about this, it reminds me of many different events that have occurred in my life where I pretty much had to, go with the flow, go with things, and not tell anybody how the plan was until I was complete with it. That's what Olódù reminds me of. Is simply just going within, setting my target on a goal and completing that goal without going about bragging or even sharing, or just being all out and outside about it, because I am following the responsibility in the order of IFÀ in order to achieve said goals and said task. The Babalaos praising IFÀ, knowing that they did as IFÀ had instructed in order to help the king through whatever they were going through. That's usually how it goes. And the sunshine usually comes out in the end, and everybody is happy, everybody eats. That's when you know you're doing an honorable thing. When I read the verses of Olódù, they come from a lineage that is preserved through Ile-Ife, Oyo, Benin, that the elders speak of, that is scribed by the owls. The training and the studying of the owls sometimes is very hard, very long, and very, very, very intricate. It's a lot of order that must go into becoming an owl. It is not a process that you want to rush through. I am not rushing through the phases of being an EL owl. I want to document each of my days. I want to document it, and I want to record my own transformation in the process of becoming who it is that I am set to be. This comes with obedience. It comes with strength. And I am reminded that, it's a philosophy. It is a part of science, in a sense, to be studious to my own destiny. It requires ethics and a system that has been refined long before my time, long before modern religion even came into this monopoly that we have to play each day. To study Ifa without its history is to miss the spine of this tradition. And in today's Odu, it is asked of us, where have you been careless with your words? Where have you been angry or gossiping or have pride that weakens your home, your foundation, your relationships with others? Who have you trusted with your dreams, the dreams that require protection? And then it warns against false accusations, envy, jealousy, spiritual impatience, revealing plans too early, confusing your strength and resilience with aggression. It is to, in the Odu, it is promised that there will be some endurance, there will be protection and leadership learned through restraint, survival through wisdom and not force. So maybe those are some things that you can take with you just for thought or to put in mind. Tawade practice for today, I would say, is to read verses, do some research on Oyeku, and just sit with them and write whatever comes up that may be a challenge for you so that you are able to get the information for it later. Just ask Olódùmarè and ask your Ori to reveal to you anything that arises that appears to be a challenge. You know, if you're even inclined, you may want to draw from what you read and gather for Oyeku. You might want to create a poem. But whatever you must do during this time, don't rush through it and then just allow for your ancestors and your Ori to persevere and to help you through it so that we may continue to learn and gather what we need from each one of the Yodus so that we can continue through the remaining of the 16 days of Tawade. So may each one of the Odus carry you and to cleanse you of whatever does not serve you so that you can return to what actually does.